What is going on, my fellow geeks, and welcome back to Raving Geeks.
I do have a media recommendation.
I love Lord of the Rings. Superheroes, movies, a little jack of all trades, I guess.
So what makes me a geek?
What is going on, my fellow geeks, and welcome back to Raving Geeks, the weekly pop culture podcast from Central Michigan Life, where we discuss all things geek culture, which is like high culture, but better. If this is your first time joining us, make sure you follow the CM Life Instagram and Twitter pages for updates on the podcast, and to look for us wherever you find your podcasts, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on our website at www.cm-life.com. My name is Brendan Valentine, and I'd like to thank you all for joining me and my fellow geeks this week, who will introduce themselves in a moment with our question of the week. This week's question, near and dear to my heart, is our favorite MCU characters. So Marvel Cinematic Universe, not Marvel Comics. So like specifically within the MCU, who are not titular characters. So like if their name appears in the title of any of the movies, they don't count. This leaves most villains open, side characters, non-titular heroes. I will put the caveat, the Guardians of the Galaxy refers to everyone in the Guardians of the Galaxy. So like no Star-Lord, no Gamora, no Groot. But like I wouldn't necessarily count Yondu or I'd count Nebula at this point. But like characters like that are like fringe, maybe part of the team, maybe not, but like definitely on the team. Not available. So for me, my favorite MCU character that is not in the title of a movie or a show, given WandaVision is officially out, so Wanda and Vision are, has got to be Cassie Lang. Like I know that's like she's not like a hero. You're not doing fighting, but like the scene from Ant-Man 1 where like he brings her the toy and she's like, he's so ugly. I love him, and like I just love that. I love that scene. I think she's really fun, and like she's gonna be involved more in the MCU now with her age up post Endgame. So I'm like excited for her too. I like what she's done. And I'm like, it's whatever. But then like the fact that we could be getting her in Young Avengers like hypes her up for potential in my head, and then she'll probably like fight along Scott in Quantumania. So I'm fingers crossed for that. One of my fellow co-hosts, would you like to answer our question and introduce yourself?
All right. Well, I'm Isaac Hunter. This question was a doozy because there are so many people I love. I actually have a list, but I will hold back. And I guess on the top of my list, I put Wong from Doctor Strange.
We stan Wong. We stan Wong.
Wong is so... I don't know, like ever since you first meet him, like he's just a librarian, but like it's like just a librarian, but also like fighting in Endgame. He's so cool. He did the isn't he the one that cut off the
yes,
the monsters?
Trying to remember which child of Thanos.
Black Star. I don't know, something with that. But I don't know. He's just funny. The Beyonce talk with him, it's so good.
Yes. Also, I find it really funny that like the actor's name is Benedict Wong that plays him. So it's like Benedict Cumberbatch, the character, like his character and like his co-star. It's like, I know it's like his name and it's like his identity, but I think that's just a fun coincidence.
It was meant to be. All right, take it away.
Hey everyone, I am Hope Gooderl. My favorite character in the MCU that's not a titular character would either have to be Ned from Spider-Man, the new ones like Spider-Man Homecoming, starting with that, or Marissa Tomei's Aunt May, because she's just sassy and I love her. And like the fact that she, we end a couple of the movies with her about to like cuss out Peter, like is just perfect. And then of course, the Peter Tingle, or
I don't. That still rubs me the wrong way. I don't like them calling it the Peter Tingle. And then like when he eventually uses it, it's the most dramatic scene in Far From Home. He was like, "I used my Peter Tingle," and like you ruined it. Like you but also it's Call Obsidian is the child of Thanos we were the member of the Black Order that we were messing up.
Something with a color that's like black. Yeah.
Yep. So we're all good. It was going to kill me. I'm like, I know it. But yeah, so thank you both for introducing yourselves. Now, each week here on Raving Geeks, we like to get started with some quick geek news. So, hosts, what have you got for us in the realm of geek culture?
Okay. Well, the game Outer Worlds has a DLC coming out next week called Murder on Eridanos or something similar, and it's going to be like a murder mystery, which is kind of fun. Also, for those people that thought that Benedict Cumberbatch would make a great Admiral Thrawn, unfortunately, he, in an interview, said he has no interest in painting himself blue. And so that's kind of sad because he's got the cheekbones for it.
Oh, my number 2 is Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, not bad.
I think he'd be a really good Thrawn.
That's what I got.
Do you have a ton? Should I go first? Or
yes, you should go first because I have
sounds good. I don't have a whole lot. As the filming of this podcast, this is the first time that we filmed since Paramount Plus has officially come online. So that's exciting. I mean, like it's exciting if you like what's on Paramount Plus. If you're not super interested, then like it's not. It's just another day. But everything that like is like native to CBS. So if you're a big Survivor person, SpongeBob's on there. So everything owned by Paramount basically under that umbrella. So if you're a big movie person as well, they have a pretty sizable catalog of movies available. Like if you can't find it on Amazon Prime, you could probably find it on Paramount from what I've seen. And they partner up too, so there's a lot available there. And also, there's a little like personal geek history for me. One of my favorite video games of all time is TMNT, Turtles in Time. The co-host and I talked about this specific game with the host of another CM Life podcast that will be coming online shortly, Level Up Chips. And it reminded me of this game, but apparently there's going to be a new game coming out soon called TMNT Shredder's Revenge that is very similar 16-bit beat 'em up to what Turtles in Time was. And I'm very excited that we're getting an update because one of the things I was hoping for when I bought my Super Nintendo Classic was to have TMNT Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo Classic. And that's like all I wanted to play. And it wasn't on there, and there's no way for me to get it on there. So I'm like this close every time I go to like the retro game store to buying a Super Nintendo and that just to play that game. So having something more modern come out that's still like same style, I'm very excited for.
All right. So I guess it's up to me. So hi everyone. Of course I have a whole ton. I was just double checking something to make sure I have all of the information that I can get. So there is going to be a new Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out with Hugh Grant, who will play the villain, and he will be starring opposite of Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, and I'm gonna screw up this person's name, and I apologize in advance. Regé John Page. And so, yeah, for all you Dungeons and Dragons fans, it is a reboot of the
original Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, the 2000 British American film, and the early negotiations to direct the film were John Francis Daly, which some of you might know him from Bones, as Shrink, Sweets, for the FBI, and Jonathan Goldstein. So it is in January of this year, it said that they had announced they had co-written a new draft of the script. So Dungeons and Dragons fans, be on the lookout for that.
Mm-hmm. And I grew up with that movie. Like Jeremy Irons is the villain in the original, and it's good.
It's gonna be. I'll say with the cast that they've got, it's gonna be interesting.
I was gonna say Justice Smith. He's from Detective Pikachu, right? Like that's his biggest. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I like him.
Yeah. Well, and then Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez, like big names.
Yeah, but everyone knows them. Like Justice Smith is like relative. Like he's younger and newer. So, and I don't know as much of his stuff. So I'm excited to see him in more things.
Exactly. All right. If you are a fan of horror movies, A Quiet Place Part 2 is now going to be released on May 28th of this year.
Woo! Wait, that wasn't released?
Apparently not. It might have been like one of those, like, it was released, but then everything shut down. So then they were like, we're going to re-release it because we got no money out of it.
Okay, yeah, I'll go see that. Well, I guess like if it's end of May, it might not be. If I'm not vaccinated yet, then I probably won't go see it. But
never know. In the MCU, the X-Men reboot is reportedly being developed under the title The Mutants. So we get to look out for that title and see how that works out.
Is this within MCU or is this just like Marvel?
I believe it's supposed to be within the MCU. Because they were supposed, once Marvel got the rights back to X-Men, they were going to try and bring it back somehow. And I'll save my comments for that for later in the episode, as when we talk about WandaVision. Also from Marvel, they are casting for a new shapeshifter to appear in She-Hulk. Codename A Dude, 20 to 30 years old, female, mysterious shapeshifter that embraces Earth's pop culture, enjoying the way that she lives life. So if you're looking to be in a Marvel movie and you're a female between 20 and 30 years old, try it out. There is a
if it's a shapeshifter though, Isaac, we could be stand-ins for like shape-shifted people, like just to blend in.
True.
I'll be an extra on a train. Yeah.
Within the MCU as well, there is a rumor going around that Marvel is going to split the Spidey universe into two different franchises. So they will continue with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, following him through college. But then they would also have a different Spidey universe franchise that would be introducing Miles Morales and have him joining the Young Avengers. So that's another thing to be on the lookout for. If you were a fan of the animated series Powerpuff Girls, the CW has ordered a pilot and cast Chloe Bennett, Dove Cameron, and Yana Peralt as the 3 Powerpuff Girls. So that's going to be
live action.
Live action.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Better see some hand nubs, no fingers.
Well, and to think that, like, what I remember of the Powerpuff Girls, they were like younger, but all of the actresses are.
It's the CW. It's going to be like a high school drama of the Powerpuff Girls where they have powers. But like, just knowing the CW, like, hey, they're the ones that produced the line. Yeah, I dropped into school in the 4th grade to run drugs to support my grandma, and I guess you never know the highs and lows of high school football. And I was like, all right, I know that's not the exact quote. The exact quote is like much more dramatic, but that's the gist. So I'm excited.
What was that from?
Riverdale.
Oh,
when Archie goes to prison.
I forgot about that. So moving on from that, when Benedict Cumberbatch was asked if he had filmed his scenes yet for Spider-Man No Way Home, he said yes and no. So that's something to look forward to in the Spider-Man
Meaning
movie.
he has no scenes. Dang it.
Meaning he might have like an end scene credit, like, you know, the end credit scene where it's just like you see his
Maybe
hands.
he's done, but they know they need to do reshoots.
Yeah, entirely possible. Or they're still moving the script around because we all know Tom Holland can't keep his mouth shut about anything. Because he also hasn't been allowed to see Black Widow because he might spoil it. They have like kept it away from him.
Also, I feel like part of this Tom Holland thing is a bit of a publicity stunt. Like, I don't think he's actually that bad at keeping secrets. I feel like at the beginning he was, but like, I don't think Disney would like let him keep going. If like, just knowing Disney, I feel like Disney's control issues are stronger than Tom Holland's big mouth.
I think yes and no, because I also just like watching videos of Tom Holland and like knowing how excited he gets and then just word vomits stuff without realizing. And then all of a sudden his brain catches up with what his mouth said. I think it's one of those, like, there's like, just in case, because we know you're going to get really excited and want to talk about it. So, you know, it's Tom Holland. We all love him anyways. So
yeah, I mean, Mark Ruffalo like straight up was like, when they were talking about Infinity War before it came out, he was like, and in this one, everyone dies.
Yeah.
And everyone like looks at him and he goes, just kidding.
Well, and then you
And then
had
everyone died.
Everyone died.
you had the interview with Tom Holland on I think it was Kimmel, and he was like, "Yeah, I die in this movie," but like he also didn't know. And then the movie came out, and he was like, "Ha! I ruined it without realizing I ruined it."
Mhm.
So it's Tom Holland. He can do a lot of different things. Back to ending our tangent on Tom Holland and going back to geek news. Steven Spielberg has cast Michelle Williams to play his mom in a movie loosely based on his childhood. So we'll be getting a Steven Spielberg movie about Steven Spielberg, which should be very interesting. If you are a fan of the Munsters, there is a Munsters movie happening with director Rob Zombie, and he is going to be writing and directing it. And it's based on the classic sitcom. And then his wife, his real life wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, is going to be the character Lily. If you are a fan of American Horror Story, the 10th season is going to include Home Alone actor Macaulay Culkin in it. In this 10th season, you are still going to have your returning actors, Sarah Paulson, Kathy Bates, Evan Peters, Adina Porter, and, everyone else. But we should have fun with that. Maybe I'll bring in some Home Alone stuff. I apologize for all Grey's Anatomy fans, but it does look like season 17 is very likely going to be the final season of this series. A lot of the showrunners and producers are very they don't say much, but they're like, I don't know yet. And they're just kind of like, I think they're still trying to figure out what they want to do. And because it's getting to the point of they're just like killing off people or screwing up storylines. So it's kind of one of those, like, how are they going to end it nicely, I think, is what they're going to try and do. Or, like, make it so that they can do, like, years in the future with Zola or something, all the kids from the original cast members and stuff. Switching gears, though. Sorry, I keep going back and forth, but this is all just stuff that, like, I found on Facebook or Instagram and stuff. It, like, just varies. So if you are a fan of Alcatraz Island, they're going to be welcoming visitors back on March 15th of this coming Monday when this episode is released. They will have safety measures based on CDC guidance, and you will have to, like, schedule your trip in advance. But it's opening if you want to visit the island and the old prison. There is going to be a new show on Disney Channel, which is going to be a single camera comedy about a young girl and her competitive roller skating crew, which is going to be called Saturdays. And it's from 16-year-old Blackish star Marseille Martin. And so I'm really excited for that because we're getting more people of color into Disney and getting them in bigger roles. And I am really happy that that's happening because I want to see more of that. And then, let's see, trying to make sure I go in slight order. All right. So final things here. So Netflix is cracking down on the whole password sharing thing. They've been like really chill about it. They're like, it's something we have to live with. But for whatever reason, they're cracking down on it. And they're going to be testing TV users. So if you have Netflix on your TV, specifically, they're going to be prompting you that when customers, this is what like the article says, the company has started testing a new prompt when customers attempt to use a Netflix account that belongs to someone outside of their household. If you don't live with the owner of this account, you need your own account to keep watching, the prompt says. Users will then be directed to either verify the account with a text or email code or start their own free 30-day trial. So I'm just sitting here going with all of the college kids, like, do we technically had to get our own streaming service now. Netflix. What the heck? And so I think I have two more pieces of three final. Matthew McConaughey says that he is seriously considering running for Texas governor, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, if he can stay governor, like Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, it might be okay, but like I also don't know his political views and what he views on stuff, so that's going to be interesting.
It'll be all
Make
right.
sure he's going to make sure every Texan has the 3D Doritos, and a bottle of what's his brand of whiskey?
Turkey, right? Wild turkey, I think, or something
like that. Yeah, everyone's going to have access to his whiskey and the Doritos that he does ads for.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Texas political platform, doesn't it?
Oh no, wait.
It sounds like a Matthew McConaughey thing. Come on. And so going back, so Aldrich Killian actor Guy Pearce, who played him in Iron Man 3, has stated that he wouldn't mind coming back and playing Killian in a MCU movie. And,
wait, Aldrich Killian?
Yeah.
That was Iron Man 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He is very much dead. And he's like, I don't know how I would come back. But, you know, if they said, hey, you want to come back and play your villain role, I wouldn't say no to it. He really liked playing in that movie with the actors and producers and everything. And he loved the character. So, you know, I think he's trying to get out there and be like, Disney, let me back in. You know, all the TikTok videos of, let me in. And then my final thing is that Mission Impossible 7 and Mission Impossible 8 are shooting back to back, and they are on their way. But then we got some casting updates that there are Deadpool 2 stars who are being included in the new Marvel movies, including, so we've got Rob Delaney, Charles Parnell, Indira Varma, Mark Gatiss, Carrie Eels, and also Haley Atwell, Pom Klementif, Shea Wingham, and Asai Morals. So, that is all of the news that I have found in the last week.
All of the news. And that is all of the news in the world. That's it. That's all you have to know.
All right. See you next week, everyone.
All right. See you next week
episode.
when we cover everything that else happened in the week, and then you're all informed. But for real, moving into our main topic this week, as most of you are painfully aware, Wandavision is over. And it has been after this is released, will have been more than a week since WandaVision came out. But we just wanted to go over like how it ended, the whole like thing of the finale, how we think it affects the MCU, and then by the time this is released, it'll be less than a week until Falcon the Winter Soldier comes out. So we also want to, quick mention that. So first big question, in a word, what did you think of the finale?
Like, I can't describe it in just one word.
That's all I'm giving you. And you just use like 6.
I know. I can't think of like the right word though.
I can. Anticlimactic.
Oh, I was going to say lackluster.
I feel like it wrapped it up nicely, but then it was like, wait, that's it. Like,
I mean,
it was missing something.
Yeah. Did we get our hopes up? Yes.
Yeah. And I have this point a little bit later. But like, I don't think it was because I hyped up all this other big stuff. Like there's like specific things in the season that I was expecting and that did not come simply from what was presented in the season, not any theorizing. So, but given that we generally seem to have slightly disappointed reactions with the finale, I generally thought it was very good. Like it was a good episode, but given like the twists and the endings we had throughout the season, I was hoping for something a little bigger in the finale. But then, if we're gonna say same question, but for the whole season, in a word, WandaVision season 1.
Magical.
intriguing.
Let's see. My joke word is Agatha. But like
all along.
all along. Oh my gosh! Like Spotify topping song right there. But overall, the season was mystical. It's very that's the word. Like in terms of content and like in terms of actual content and like meta content about the episodes. So personally, I just want to go. Oh, go for it, Hope.
I'm gonna say though, like I was kind of sort of right on my theories about WandaVision and Agatha and like Agnes, the whole thing, but then it also like spun my theory on its head and like was like, psych, you're also wrong. And I was like,
So from this point onward, we're going to talk in a little more detail about WandaVision. So that's our quick review for anyone that hasn't been hyped up to already. So spoiler alert, from here on out, we're going to get into a little more detail. But going into why I thought, I was a little disappointed. I know we did a lot of like theorizing, like people were like X-Men, mutants, like break the multiverse. Like we're generally from all the theorizing, I was definitely expecting like an ending where like a lot of crap happened. Like it left us on like, multiverse is broken. Between now and Far From Home, what happens? Because Doctor Strange happens after Far From Home. Like, how do we know? So was what I was expecting. Specifically, the X-Men, given the Evan Peters casting, thought that was something coming. But I realized that it wasn't that made me think it wasn't enough. I think they hyped up Hayward to be the big bad, and we never got a payoff between Wanda and Hayward. Like, he said maybe 2 lines in the whole, like he had his interaction with Jimmy Woo, which was like funny, where Jimmy like fooled him. Haha. But then like once he was in the Hex, he said like what, 1 line?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
that.
and which was like, it was an intense moment when he goes to shoot Billy and Tommy. And you're like, oh wow, he really said like F them kids. Like, like he was just straight up gonna unload a clip into 2 10-year-old boys. But then like, everything happens with Monica. But I was like, that was it. Like, I was anticipating some back and forth, like something where he was really like he was never really a threat to Wanda, but where he thought he was a threat to Wanda. And I don't feel like we ever saw that. I feel like he shot at them, realized he was like, oh crap, and then like became a coward and got out of there. I was anticipating more in the Hayward department. What about y'all?
Part of it was we were anticipating the whole Pierce thing, like in Captain America Winter Soldier, where Pierce became the big bad and like was like, no, F you, I'm in charge, like Hydra takes over, let's do this. Whereas Pierce doesn't have anything to fall back on, and he's basically trying to have big dick energy, and he has small dick energy instead, because he's, like you said, he's a coward. He's just trying to prove something that he can't. And like, honestly, like, I was expecting more interaction too. I think I saw something this week that said that they changed the script of the entire series and storyline a whole lot while the entire time of filming and everything. And that the series finale, they actually cut a bunch of scenes that had Monica in it, that had like all of them.
Ralph Boner.
Huh?
Ralph Boner.
Yeah. Like, but like having Monica and Vision, Red Vision specifically, Billy, Tommy, and Wanda like fighting, whether it was Sword or Agatha, like all together. Like they cut out a bunch of stuff. And so I think part of it was like, they were like, we kind of want to make this into a movie because it's the MCU, but also we have to shrink it down to fit a TV episode. So I think they also kind of screwed themselves over with. I
heard that too, but I heard a lot of the changes were because of COVID restrictions. They just couldn't get people back into filming, so they were like, "All right, this is the footage we've got. This is what we got to make it." But yeah, I heard there was going to be a lot. Like there was going to be episode 9 was going to be like revealing what the Darkhold was, the book that Wanda has at the end. Like the episode was going to be around that, and it was going to be like Agatha and Wanda figuring their crap out. We weren't going to quite see White Vision in the Hex yet. And it was going to be that. And then Agatha would have been mostly taken care of by the time the Hex had to be, or like the Hex would have had to be taken down at the end of episode 9. Monica, the twins, and Ralph would have gotten the Darkhold, brought it to Wanda. But by doing that, the Hex is being taken down, that kind of stuff.
They said that there was a scene that they filmed of the twins and Monica, and I think Ralph.
Ralph Boner, you got to say his whole name.
Evan Peters.
I also hate it. I hate it so much, but also like that's totally Evan Peters' sense of humor. So,
but like them going back into the basement and getting the Darkhold and then coming back out, but that got cut as well. And I think
I feel like there, like, I don't know, there was just a lot of like Agatha's basement. I thought we would see so much more of, but we didn't. I was kind of disappointed that her rabbit didn't like do anything. Like
that was cut.
That was also cut. It's supposed to be a demon.
Yeah, and I assumed it was, and it wasn't. But I think a lot of why I'm upset is they kind of just like went with the classic like ever since like the first Iron Man, it's a lot of the times it's a hero just fights an evil version of themselves. And this time we had two heroes fighting two evil versions of themselves. Like,
but the Vision fight was not that. Like they had a twist. The Wanda and Agatha one didn't. And I think that's where we were like, oh.
And I was even like expecting. I was gonna be like, what if they switch who they're fighting? Because it's like they're so evenly matched. But then it's like, what if they switch? And then they didn't do that. And then it was just a big.
It's like Vision versus Agatha done quick. Vision takes like, I mean, not done quick, but like. She can't absorb Vision's magic because Vision doesn't have magic, and White Vision is already like trying to destroy. Well, no, he's trying to destroy. The internet's been calling him Colored Vision, but I don't like that.
Nah.
I like Red Vision or Scarlet Vision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I heard Colored Vision, and I was like, because the implication is like, if there's a White Vision, does that make the other Vision like they pulled the race statement on it? And there have been like honestly some really funny jokes about it, specifically with his like sweater outfit in the back. They put the chain on him, and he's like swagged out because he's like all like he's got all the drip in his last outfit. And I just thought it was so funny, like the way they did that. It's just. But or the one meme where it's like, wait, if you're Vision, why are you white? And it's like, Wanda, you just can't ask people why they're white. Like they pulled that out just because we kept calling him White Vision, which is like, it sounds wrong, but there's really like no implication. I just thought it was funny.
I realized what upset me the most, because I was fully expecting like Wanda to break the multiverse and like see that break, kind of like in Flash. On the CW, where it's like something got screwed up and like you could just tell, but here it was just like, oh yeah, Westview, all of a sudden everybody hates Wanda and she's just gonna like figure out everything and just I was like, and then they give the whole Billy and Tommy calling for her at the end when she's in the cabin.
I like that. I like that end credit scene.
I liked it too, but I was like, can we make that bigger?
With the real quick, I also like, again on the villain thing, back to what Isaac said, I think they hyped up Agatha as the big bad, the main villain. I don't think she should have been, because in the comics Agatha's more of like a mentor to Wanda, and like this whole time, like specifically with the song Agatha All Along, it seemed to me that Agatha was like it seemed to me that she wasn't a villain. Like it seemed like she was just like curious in Wanda and like wanted something from her, but didn't like want to like harm her. And that was kind of her thing. But like at the end when they were fighting, like, this doesn't feel right. I feel like Agatha didn't ever actually want to fight Wanda. Like she didn't want to like take her powers. She wanted to like understand her powers. And I think presenting her as a big bad kind of ruined that for me. She could have been so much deeper, but then just like turning into like, nah, I want this power for myself. I was like, that seems a little. It wasn't what I was hoping for out of Agatha.
Yeah. I think because like she did kind of have that when like the curiosity about Wanda, when I think it was episode 8 when they were going through all of Wanda's memories and stuff, and then her coming up choking Tommy and Billy with her magic rope things, and then being like, you're the mistress of chaos, which, side note, she said that and I immediately went to The Witcher, because how all of like the witches have their powers in The Witcher is they control their chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, ooh, can we get The Witcher in with WandaVision? But
Actually, I actually have this theory. So I think the Star Wars universe and the MCU crossed over, because in the lyrics for Agatha all along, it says she's insidious. So like she's in Darth Sidious. Like she is Darth Sidious wearing the skin suit, and it said it in the lyrics. Like I don't know what else they want. That's not even an Easter egg. That's just facts. Like she was the one manipulating Kylo Ren throughout the trilogy. Like she was the one manipulating the Galactic Empire. Like Palpatine does not exist. It's just Agatha Harkness.
All along.
All along.
and she killed Sparky too.
Yeah.
Which like I was like, bro, that never kill the dog. Never.
Also, I don't think the dog was real. I think Agatha made the dog and then like killed it to try and like test Wanda's
I feel
powers.
like it was like the shape shifting, like she shifted the bunny to look like Sparky and then shifted it back to the bunny. But so one thing that I was talking about with my dad when we were watching an episode, Agatha is because we were talking about how like Vision and Wanda and Agatha, their powers are all different colors. So you've got Vision is yellow because of Mind Stone, and like I know that Wanda is technically has like a piece of the Mind Stone inside of her, but she was more like the Reality Stone because that was the red, and then Agatha was the Power Stone. And so like I half wonder if like at least
White Vision is the Space Stone?
Maybe.
Because it's got the blue.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that because I forgot what color he was because it was just like quickness. But yeah, that works for him too. But Agatha, going back to what I was saying about how Agatha was being curious about Wanda at first, but then I think like the idea of power, if she does have some sort of like the Power Stone within her, the Power Stone just like essentially wants more power and needs to recharge type thing. And so like that part of her might have gotten like hungry or like, needing that recharge and just was like, I want the power, give me the power. And like Agatha that we had seen being curious was kind of like pushed aside because the Power Stone was like, I need food. But
I think the MCU's done with Infinity Stones. I mean, like they're not like done with them, but I don't think like they're coming back.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like how when Wanda was like, "There's a piece of the Mind Stone inside of me," when she was talking with Vision before the Hex fully collapsed. Like I think there's like the idea is that there's pieces of the Mind Stones within different superheroes, and it's just like what gets activated type thing. And not necessarily like I'm not saying like mine or like this Infinity Stones are coming back or anything. I'm just saying like there could be some correlation that they're never going to explain at all because they don't want to bring the Infinity Stones back. So
there's also the theory that Tony Stark's arc reactor is a quote unquote Infinity Stone from Iron Man 2. Like Howard Stark was working with the Tesseract for decades. And like all of a sudden he has this new element. So like he created like this energy source similar to like the Space Stone. Like after being able to study it is the theory. So
go ahead.
Go for it, Isaac.
I was gonna say, every time I watch Iron Man 2, I'm still like, I don't know the science behind him creating that. He gets like lasers and he points them toward each other and then he's like, I created a new element. And I was like, I believe you.
And I'm like, me knowing every element on the periodic table. I'm like, no, you didn't. That's not how elements work. I mean, unless there's some physics thing I don't understand. I'm sure there is, like quantum level, but they don't use the word quantum in Iron Man 2. So, but I just want to know your thoughts on the two end credit scenes we got. So the first one we get is like a secret invasion nod with like the scrolls, like it's a nod to the end of Far From Home as well. Like Nick Fury's up in space preparing something with the scrolls. We don't know what it is yet, but is like working with Sword. That's confirmed. So Also, like, how did Fury let Hayward be in charge of Sword, but beyond the point. And then the second one is Wanda out in the middle of nowhere in this little cabin, like holding like some tea and still being able to move her body around while also astral projecting and reading the Darkhold. And then her hearing Billy and Tommy like calling out. So Billy and Tommy not dead, Vision probably not dead. What did y'all think of those two? And would you have changed anything about them? Like, would you have like dropped one and emphasized the other, or would you have created a whole nother one? Because I know I would have.
I would have. Okay, well, so I guess first of all, the first credit with the scroll, I like it. I like the idea that Skrulls are everywhere. That people that we may have met already are Skrulls. I think it's going to be cool when there is a secret invasion, because it's like, you know, in the comics, the Skrulls are pretty much like the majority are like bad guys. But now it's going to be like, it's probably going to be like a few bad apples cause everyone to distrust them. Mm-hmm. It's going to be cool. But I think that what would have made it better is if the Skrull that talked to Monica was the young girl Skrull from Captain Marvel that she like hung out with. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been a cooler connection. Kind of just to see that. And then with the second end credit scene, I loved it. In the mountains, I don't know. It's very... it
fits Wanda.
It fits like, Wanda. And I don't know if it's Sokovia Mountains or if there's another place. That was my first assumption was Sokovia. But, I mean, maybe it's just like the Himalayas or something else. And I don't even know... Do we know for a fact if it is astral projection, what she's doing?
It's what it looks like. Given what we know from Doctor Strange, that's what I would assume. But also, like, Strange's body, like, he can't control it when he's astral projecting. But we know Wanda's more powerful than Strange in terms of magic use. So if she can control her body and astral project at the same time, that's insane.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, because, like, and like it was like it looked like a physical form almost. And so I wonder if maybe it's like a spell in the Darkhold to like be able to do that, like be able to be like consciously, maybe even like take part of yourself and like do something else, which is pretty neat. Or if the Wanda in front of the building was just an illusion, I don't know. Either way, I'm pretty excited. Multiverse.
Great. But also, can we just like take a second to appreciate the Scarlet Witch outfit?
Yes,
like we got. That was.
I want to have her outfit for Halloween this year. I don't even care if I don't go trick or treating. I just want it.
My favorite TikTok is be like, man, it would really suck if all the girls dressed up as Scarlet Witch for Halloween. That would really be the worst. And I was like, that is like, I saw a tweet. It was like, this is how you make like a female superhero sexy without sexualizing them. I was like, good point. Like it's like the whole outfit is just like damn. But like there's it's powerful, it's cool, but it's not like here's my boobs. Like
here's not every single inch of my body that you don't need to see. But yeah, it was her outfit. 'Cause I also saw something that the little triangle that she had at like the top by her like neck was like from Mind Stone for be like where Vision close to her heart and everything. And I was like, that's adorable. But yeah, I definitely would go with that one over the one that they used in the Halloween episode, as like a nod to the comics. It's like it's just.
But I thought it was funny in like the nod to the comics, like recognizing like, oh, we can do the comic accurate, but like this is not her costume. I thought it was funny.
It was definitely like oh gosh, yeah.
So Hope, what did you think of the end credit scenes? Sorry, I took it.
Okay. So end credit scenes. So first off, Isaac, thank you for reminding me of the whole child scroll thing where Monica Rambeau, hanging out with her. I think that would be really cool, and I think it would be interesting to see if like later on, when they're traveling to go see. I think the majority of us presume that it's Nick Fury that she's going to be seeing.
It's Nick Fury.
Was that confirmed or just like you just knowing?
It's Nick Fury because we saw him in space and Far From Home. So like, there's no way it's not Nick Fury. There's like a 0.0001% chance it's not Nick Fury.
It's Mephisto.
I swear to God,
What if it is Mephisto? No.
I'm gonna leave. I'm done.
But, as they're like on their way to go visit Nick Fury, that like she's like, "Oh, you don't recognize me?" And then Monica just having that like, "Oh shit" moment of being like, "Wait, you're the." But I kind of wish, just in general, we had seen more of Monica's powers, like gotten a little bit more taste out of that in the last episode, especially. Just because it's like, you tease us and then you don't give it to us, and then all of a sudden we have a scroll being like, "Hey, he wants to see you up there," and we're like, "Oh, we're going back to
God,
space."
is that you?
Morgan Freeman? Sorry. He's just my favorite person to be playing the God character in a lot of movies. But the second credit scene with Wanda, I definitely think that it's her using her powers, and like I have a slight evidence to back it up, because when she's in the Hydra base being tested with Loki's scepter, you see that projection of like the Scarlet Witch and like in that outfit and everything too. But Wanda is somewhere else, and the Scarlet Witch, is coming towards her. So I kind of think like, and I'm gonna pull in Teen Wolf here because that's the only thing I can think of. But like they have a character that's a fox, and it's like an outer like shield essentially for one of the characters, and it's kind of one of those like, is the Scarlet Witch gonna be like that? They are the same person, but when it's the Scarlet Witch, she's protecting the
Like
Wanda.
Like Hulk or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing.
Yeah, but like instead of like Hulk or Jekyll and Hyde, they can be separated so that the witch part can be looking through the Darkhold or whatever book she decides to steal from Doctor Strange's thing in New York.
Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yes, Sanctum Sanctorum. And also having Wanda just being able, I would say that she probably has to keep it like within a certain range, like within the cabin. But I also think that it's just the cabin in general, and having Wanda like on her own and figuring out herself is a good way to have her like work through everything and just become comfortable with just being alone, even if she's not fully alone with the Scarlet Witch.
It kind of gave me like Luke Skywalker on Octo vibes from The Last Jedi. Which, depending on how you feel about The Last Jedi, like it could be an awful thing, but I liked that aspect of Luke's character. The isolation, trying to figure himself out after he made some mistakes, the way that Wanda also made mistakes. So, see, for me, oh wait, sorry, hope I cut you off.
There was a meme that I saved that was like, it was from a different show, and I don't remember what show it was, but it was like Wanda, like, "I didn't do anything," and all the MCU fans going, "We know, honey, it's okay. We're protecting you." And I was just like, when that happened with when all the people of Westview were like ganging up on her, I was like, listen, if you had all of that in your head, you knew how she was feeling, and I get that it's awful to feel that way. I get that. But also, like, help her instead of trying to kill her.
They tried to kill her? I thought they tried to stop her from doing it again.
I mean, fair, but like,
I feel like she would have killed them if they tried to kill her, like self-preservation.
Yeah, but it was just like the mob mentality. So
that kind of leads up to like my thought process on the second end credit scene. It was like, I definitely liked that one, and I liked what they did with it. I think it would have. I would change the first end credit scene completely. But like with that, it kind of like leaves up like, so if Wanda's looking at the Darkhold, which Agatha used, we know Agatha's a villain. Like this kind of leaves up for interpretation. Is Wanda still like as heroically pure as like when we met her in Age of Ultron? Like generally, like Wanda was a hero, and even though they were working with Ultron, like we know their motives were good, and that's why she ended up aligned with the Avengers. And then we know like she has made mistakes like Lagos and Westview, but like in general, her intentions have been good. is reading the Darkhold going to change that? And it's just like, I need to get what I want. I've made enough mistakes. Now I have the power to not make the mistakes, and I'm going to do everything on purpose now. So I feel like I don't think she's going to become a villain, but I feel like in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, there could be this like Strange is like, I have a really strict ethical guide on how I use magic because we could do a lot of stuff, but we could end up harming, Dormammu like type stuff. And then Wanda's like, I can take Dormammu. Like, I can do whatever. I'm not going to hurt, like, whatever. The multiverse, screw that. I'm going to do what I want to do because I'm the most powerful witch in the universe. Like, I feel like that's what it's alluding to, and I really like that. But my biggest, what was that?
I was going to say, I kind of agree and I don't with that, because I also feel like at the end of episode 9, they realized, or like she realized, like, how her wanting Vision back and then, taking control of the city or the town, whatever you want to call it, like, I think she'll be like both, where it's like, no, screw that, I'm powerful, let me just take care of this real quick, but also on the side of like, I need to make sure that like nobody gets harmed in the process, like innocents don't get harmed in the process.
Yeah, I get that. And I feel like maybe her mentality going into like finishing phase 4, phase 5 post Westview is like, now that I know I have this power, now that I know I'm the Scarlet Witch, like Westview won't happen again.
Yeah.
Type stuff. And that could mean like, I'm still going to use my power, but like I have control of it this time. Like I could make another Westview without,
actually
hurting anyone.
Taking over.
But I'm choosing not to, But my biggest question at the end of the finale is, where the heck did White Vision go? My favorite part of the episode was that Ship of Theseus like discussion, and that was my favorite part of the finale. Is when like they go back and forth, and like they like they just like have a civil discussion instead of a fight.
Yeah, I know. Perfect robot fight.
Battle of the
it was
brains.
So good. My biggest question was what happened to White Vision. So I wanted one of the end credit scenes to hint at where he went. First of all, I want to know how, like, I'm clearly he has the ability to get in and out of the hex, but I wanted to see that, like, because obviously he went in and he went out. So they're like,
Monica but when he went out, wasn't there like breaks in the hex? Because
no, Wanda had resealed it.
Had she? Okay.
Because when she started to open it, Vision started to fall apart.
Oh, so, that's right. Okay.
I just wanted to know what happened to White Vision. And I think introducing Monica was good, but like we know she's going to come back in Captain Marvel 2, or at least it's strongly implied that she'll be in Captain Marvel 2.
Confirmed that her storyline is going to continue in Captain Marvel 2.
So like I didn't need to see anything with Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy. However, since we were going to see it, I wanted all three of them back together. Like even though we didn't get to see Darcy again, so I was like, oh, but I didn't really like. I have no investment in Secret Invasion post WandaVision. Like I need something more to really get me interested in Secret Invasion than what we were given. But the thing that I was really interested in is what happened to White Vision. My theory is that he went to Wakanda because that's where Vision's memories end, and that's where he needed to pick up. And like he doesn't have any like Westview Vision memories, so like he's like, that's where I need to go to figure myself out. And I would have liked to see him like landing in Wakanda, like looking around and like having some kind of revelation. Maybe like someone coming up to him being like, "Hey, like, are you the Vision?" Like,
I'm sure he'd come up and be like, "You're different.
I'd like you to join the Avengers Initiative."
We have another broken white man. This one's a robot.
Honestly, though, that would have been like the perfect time to bring in the Mean Girls question of, why are you white?
Yeah.
Like,
yep. But I think that is what I'm waiting for, but also the theory that the power source in his head is an arc reactor, like a Stark arc reactor. I think he might make an appearance or at least be alluded to in Armor Wars. So,
yeah.
That's what
I saw a similar thing, and it was like it had all these different characters in WandaVision, and it had like what title they might be in next.
Yeah. I saw that as well. Darcy and Love and Thunder.
Which I love Darcy. But I do like, that's why I was torn if White Vision is either going to go back to Wakanda or if he's just going to like go wreak havoc on SHIELD headquarters, because I don't know. You think that if he's
headquarters.
Sorry, sorry, SHIELD.
You mean Hydra?
Yeah. For real. Because like he might, he has the knowledge of Vision now, somewhat the memories of Vision, but he probably also has some knowledge of Sword. Like, I don't know, if you're a computer made by a Sword, you probably have some sort of thing in there, and so like he might know some like nefarious things that Sword is doing right now.
Yeah, and like that was my thought too. Was after like Red Vision was like, here's all your memories back, and someone's controlling you. Like my immediate thought was like he was going to go to the person who was controlling White Vision was going to go to the person controlling him, to like be like, why were you controlling me, and like asking a bunch of brainiac questions that they probably wouldn't be able to answer, and then going somewhere else. And like I almost wonder if like he wouldn't go back to maybe Stark Tower, because that's where he was technically
the Vision was born.
Yeah. And then seeing nothing there, and then going to Sword, or trying to find Wakanda, and trying to pick up the pieces and put it back together.
Yeah, that's definitely valid. White Vision, I think, is the biggest mystery coming out of season 1 of WandaVision. Speaking of biggest mysteries coming out of season 1 of WandaVision, one of the things I really appreciated about this, because with the original way I thought it was going to end, I thought like we weren't really getting a WandaVision season 2. But given what happened in the finale, I definitely see the option for a second season. So do you have any like major hopes, predictions, like theories for season 2, either of you?
I would say if they have a season 2, I honestly would love to see Billy and Tommy come back, and just like grow into their powers and be actual children, not just, her brain creating it. Because I think like that would be really good for her to figure out like family and rebuilding that family and that trust for Wanda. And also just like her having that link to Pietro with whichever one of them, because I can never remember, whichever one of them is the speedster.
Tommy.
Side tangent. Billy knew what was going to happen when the hex was closing, and I learned that, and I got really sad because
how did Billy know?
Because he has the ability to read minds like his mother.
But he can't read his mother's mind.
I thought he could.
Nor his father's.
I thought he could, because there was a bunch of noise coming from Wanda and everything when the Agatha All Along episode happened. Because I thought that's like where most of the noise was coming from, was from Wanda.
I feel like if Wanda didn't want him to know, she wouldn't know. And in that other episode, she kind of was losing it a bit. So I guess that's where my mind went. But you were right.
Because she does say like, I just want to thank you for choosing me to be your mom, or what, however the line goes. And so I think that's when like she probably had like a slip type thing, and had it where Billy could read her mind and see that it was closing, and that they were going to be non-existent, at least in this universe.
My favorite joke from that is like, it's like she says that, and then it's like Wanda and Vision downstairs. It's like them like hugging and doing it, and then it's like the kids upstairs. It's like Nick Fury being dusted. He's going like, but he's like, because at the end of Infinity War, it's like mother, but like it's in the line just says mother. It's like mother.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't think there will be a season 2. Just because we know that Wanda's going to be in Doctor Strange. But in the event that there is a season 2, it would definitely be probably quite a different show. Like it wouldn't take on the same, Westview thing. But it'd have to be about Wanda and Vision's relationship. Possibly Wanda finding White Vision, or vice versa, getting to know him again. I mean, because if that's the title of the show, WandaVision, then that Vision's going to be a big chunk of it.
Mm-hmm. That's my thought process too. Is season 2 would be like, because my biggest hope when like we saw the Red Vision versus White Vision fight, was that the solution to that was they were going to meld.
Yeah.
So that, the Wanda's creation and the actual body of Vision would come back to something close to what Vision was. So I think season 2 could be coming around that. Like, Wanda's mastered her powers. She could probably like make Billy and Tom, like project Billy and Tommy, project Vision from season 1, but like can't like make them real. Like, that's just not like, she needs a binding agent. And I think the season will be like, oh, I can bind, red Vision to white Vision, and then like it's back to almost the Vision I knew. And then the problem could be, I need to do that with my sons too. And then you bring into the House of M, stealing parts of Mephisto's soul. And I feel like thinking like that's what we predicted for this season. So like I think the creators might be able to, hey, we can twist it, give them what they wanted last time, and then do something even bigger with it.
Well, I think
so
it
that
also
was my thought
depends
process.
on if like they're trying to use season 2 to be that in between of movies and like tying things together like they did with season 1, where like, yeah, it's the end of MCU as we know it, so here let's start off something new. And so I think that'll be another big part of if we get a season 2, which they haven't ruled it out, that that would be a big factor in what they do.
Yeah, overall, WandaVision was a really strong start to Phase 4. Exceptional. But our next piece of Phase 4 will be Falcon and the Winter Soldier, coming in 2 weeks from, or a week from now. So first things first, what are we expecting from Falcon and the Winter Soldier? What kind of appearances, villain expectations, implications for the MCU, Easter eggs, anything like that? What are we thinking Falcon and the Winter Soldier is before it comes out?
Action.
Action, yes. Sarcasm and sass. Because Sam and Bucky, like, can you move your seat forward? No. Shifts over.
It was really good. That's one of the best lines in Phase 3. Like, given everything in Phase 3, that scene in the car while like Captain America's making out with his niece. I still say that she's like that. I still say they're related. I'm pretty sure Peggy and yeah. No, I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong, and I have no problem saying that because I'm pretty sure that
Steve
shouldn't happen.
doesn't have any kids or siblings. So how can it be his niece? Because Peggy's brother is dead. And as far as I'm aware, he didn't have any kids.
It'd be by law, if anything, relation. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just made it awkward. But my expectations for it, I'm really excited for Zemo to come back. So like at the end of Civil War, he obviously is like, I'm going to commit suicide because I'm done. But I want to see his shift from that, where like if they put him into prison, and obviously they probably had him on like suicide watch because they wouldn't, like, he's in prison, they don't actually want him to kill himself. But like if he's at the point where he's willing to escape prison to come after Bucky and Sam,
Falcon?
like. Sorry, I was thinking Falcon. I'm like, but if I'm saying Bucky, I also have to say, Falcon's real name. So it just took me a second. Sam. So I'm like excited to see the Zemo and them dynamic, specifically Bucky and Zemo, because like the reason Bucky had to like really be on the run for as long as he was in Civil War was because of Zemo. So I want to know what after effects Bucky is feeling.
Okay, so slight change. But Sharon is supposed to come back in Falcon.
Yes, Sharon Carter. We're supposed to, basically every side character from the Captain America movies is supposed to be in this.
But there have been rumors that Marvel is going to try and make her Bucky's love interest. And I'm just saying, if they make that happen, I am marching down to Marvel headquarters and I am yelling at them because
why are you yelling at them? I don't hate that.
She's going to be Mephisto's love interest.
There we go. Okay. A new running gag for the podcast. Everything Marvel we talk about, it's Mephisto. So why
part of it is just like, I don't like the idea of bouncing a female character around from male character to male character because it doesn't work out romantically with this character. So let's put her with this character. Now let's put her with this character. Like, part of it in me is, the whole being a girl thing, and then the whole thing of, oh, it's just a female and she's just there for a love interest. Oh, and she happens to kind of sort of be badass, but she's basically there for a love interest. Like, let's move away from that, Marvel. Let's not do that. And also let's
Sharon's
not.
FBI once Shield goes down, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So the potential Jimmy Woo series. Jimmy Woo's also FBI. Would you be upset if her and Jimmy Woo got together? Because I would love that.
Jimmy Woo could get with anyone, and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, pretty much. I also would be like, how would Jimmy Woo handle Sharon? Because
With magic.
Hey, he handled Hayward, who was like pretty stone cold. So like, I feel like if Sharon likes him, like it wouldn't be a problem. If Sharon doesn't like him, then I don't think it happens. I think that relationship's up to Sharon.
I think my other thing with Sharon though is like we haven't really seen much of her character.
No, we don't know much about her.
Like the two timing kind of sort of thing of like, oh, I'm with this group, but here I'm going to help this side instead.
She gets
like,
with Zemo.
Oof. Well, there's like one of the trailers. It makes it seem like she's on Zemo's side, and then she sees Bucky and Sam and is suddenly on their side.
I mean, Zemo is a master manipulator.
Yeah.
So like I would that'd actually be a really interesting plot point if Sharon ends up being part of the villain squad.
Because I feel like she's just like too double agenty.
We've seen that her loyalty has shifted in Winter Soldier and Civil War. But that was towards Cap, so I feel like that's different.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I need more of Sharon before I could fully say like, fine, let her be with Bucky, but like I also have the problem of just bouncing a female character around to be a love interest, especially with the whole best friend trope thing, where it's like, oh, it didn't work out with him, so I'm gonna go for his best friend. And it's like, really?
Yeah,
that's fair. No, that's probably
no. She's got to be like Maria Hill, where we know nothing about her love life.
Yeah.
Or her life. We know nothing about Maria Hill.
and I love it. Okay.
No, I want to know more about Maria Hill in the MCU. I really like Colby Smulders, and I would love to see her like in something.
Yeah.
Plot twist: Maria Hill and Sharon are actually lovers.
There it is.
Oh, actually, every FBI agent is just in like a polyamorous relationship. So it's Jimmy Woo, Maria Hill, Nick Fury's in there sometimes, but he's on and off.
Sometimes
Sharon
he sends the scroll in.
I was gonna say he sends the scroll in.
All the scrolls are.
But so what I'm excited for about, I guess, the new Captain. Why can't I think? Falcon and Winter Soldier. For some reason, I was going to put Winter Soldier at the end. At the beginning. So
you good, Isaac?
I think there's going to be a lot of it is going to have to do with the government. Obviously, already there's that like group of people with the masks.
I feel like that's Zemo's crew, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're based on like this hero in the comics that's like it's like the flag burner or something like that. That's not his name. But it's like a dude that's like against government. And also the whole like most likely it's probably the US government that's gonna be like, yeah, we know that the shield is given to you, but we're gonna give it to this young patriotic man. Like as a show,
we're going to give it to someone who like wasn't blipped away, who was relevant to us, who wasn't a war criminal,
or even that is just who's someone that wasn't a war criminal, that wasn't something. And like in the comics, that the guy that is like the stand-in, like Captain America, like he's a good guy. But I'm hoping that there will definitely be like a fight between this new Captain America guy,
U.S. agent, and
U.S.
Falcon.
agent. That's the name I was looking for. Gosh. I was typing in my phone and I was like, America Soldier. And I was like, nope.
Nah, U.S. agent. I'm really excited that they're actually going to do that. Because I think the plot points for U.S. agent versus like Bucky and Falcon is like U.S. agent's not like a bad guy, like you said. But I feel like the people behind him supporting him are. And I feel like this could be like this could explore like governmental corruption post Sokovia Accords, because we really don't know how the Sokovia Accords really have like messed with stuff yet. Like there's been allusions, but I think this could really explore Sokovia Accords and what that means in the MCU.
I mean, we got Hayward in WandaVision being like, look, she tried to steal, or she stole Vision, and screwing that all up. And he's like, therefore she violated the Sokovia Accords. So it's like,
I think it was Jimmy Woo that said like that's a direct violation of the Sokovia Accords, and then Hayward was like, and the Vision's own living will, and I was like, pretty sure Wanda can do whatever the heck she wants. Like she like in terms of Vision, like she is her like she said in the show, she is his next of kin.
Mhm.
So
yeah, and Vision's like 3 dads, you know, Ultron, Thor, and Iron Man,
And Banner. So we got 4.
and Banner. Yeah,
mhm.
my 4 dads. Vision.
But I also am looking forward because we get short hair Bucky back, not 40s Bucky that everybody absolutely adores, and that's when we fell in love with him. But the short hair Bucky is back because also, side tangent, I never understand when assassins have long hair and they don't pull it back. 'Cause it's like your hair gets in your face. I'm a girl. I lean over.
Actually, no, I know why they do that.
Why?
Shield your face from other people seeing you. Like as much as it might be like in the way, like it's less identifiable than like if you wore a hat or a mask or anything that would shield your face as well. Like hair, everyone has hair. Not everyone wears a mask.
I mean,
that's
especially
actually
especially when you're buying plums.
Yeah, when you're buying plums. Team Cap can't like go undercover though, because all they do is sunglasses and baseball hats. So
it works though. I swear. Like this pandemic has made it so easy for me to go incognito mode. All I do is put on my mask and wear a hat, and I'm like, no one knows who the heck I am.
Just walk into a bank, your mask.
No. Actually, I don't do that. I know how sketchy that looks.
But so we get short-haired Bucky back, but then he's also like, it seems like he has a normal job, like possibly on like a fisherman's boat or something like that. Like there's quite a few scenes where he's by the water.
Bucky just lifting like bags of like fish with his vibranium arm. Just everyone else on the boat's just like, what?
Singing the sea shanties that everyone's fallen in love with.
There once was a ship that went to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy O.T.
Yeah. But so also Bucky and Sam trying to find normalcy after being thrust into different wars, not getting a chance to. I mean, Sam had a little bit more chance to recover from the war that he had been in, but then they get thrust back into a new war, and then it's like
Bucky gets iced for that period of peace. But yeah,
and then he becomes a goat farmer.
The White Wolf.
Yep.
But then real quick, before we end the episode, there was a release of like some new, just like a real quick week before trailer. And I just want to analyze the quote from Falcon. He's saying like, oh, it must be one of the big 3: androids, aliens, or wizards.
I remember. Dr. Strange, there's no such thing as wizards.
It's like, there's no such thing as wizards. It's like Doctor Strange is a sorcerer. He's like, that's just a wizard without a hat. I thought I'm like, if that's going to be the vibe of the show, I'm really, really excited. But also like the fact that like Falcon can identify like these big major threats makes me think, one, it's not any of those. If they're going to allude to it in like a trailer, but also like that could be an allusion to like future MCU stuff. Like I'm sure there'll be a recurring joke if like Falcon is like, oh, androids, aliens, like wizards, but then it's like,
well, have you seen the most recent one too of I have a vibranium arm, and I can fly. And just like, or I can see the wheels turning, malfunction. Like that's why I say sass and sarcasm, because like it's 2 guys who both knew Steve. And like, let's be honest, if you are a friend of Steve Rogers, you have to have some sort of like sass to you.
Taking all the stupid with you.
But also last, I feel like this is gonna. Sorry, I keep like freaking out. One of my favorite my favorite trilogy is probably the Captain America trilogy. Like in the first 3 phases, because it's like your options are Thor, Iron Man, and Cap. Those are the only trilogies that like it was from phase 1 through phase 3, right?
Yeah, because Thor's the only one that's going to get a 4th title.
Mm-hmm. But like those trilogies, the first 2 Thor movies were not as strong as Ragnarok. I feel like Iron Man was pretty consistent throughout, but I feel like Winter Soldier and Civil War are some of like our top tier MCU movies. So like that's my favorite. But like I feel like this is going to be like a conclusion to that, because Cap's conclusion came in an Avengers movie, and I feel like his legacy. This is going to be a Captain America legacy story on top of that, not just exploring new characters. This could be just like first couple episodes homage to Steve, and then we're going to move on with our new plot. But like I'm excited for that aspect of it too.
Well, I'm fairly certain the first episode is supposed to have Steve's funeral in it, so...
Yeah. Wait, like Old Man Steve? Or just
like Old Man Steve funeral.
I hope not.
Like, he actually came back and was like, and stayed and lived the rest, like the next couple weeks or so, or... Oh man, that's sad.
Couple weeks. Yeah,
I don't know how old he is. I'm sure he came back knowing he was going to die.
It'll probably be like a fake wedding. Fake funeral.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like empty casket, but we're like, oh, we're saying goodbye to Captain America, or is it actually like Steve's body?
They showed an image of Sam in like an old house, and it kind of sort of looked like something that Steve would have lived in as Old Man Steve. So I feel like it is actual Steve. Like they're trying to tell Chris Evans, no, you're not coming back. If you want to be a superhero and continue your world record of most superheroes played, you have to find another hero to play.
Yep. And then I guess we can like kind of end on that for conversation wise. It's like that's our anticipation for first couple episodes is send off to Steve Rogers. So as always here on Raving Geeks, we like to end with some recommendations for you viewers, whether that be movies, video games, comics, or anything else geeky. So would anyone like to start with our recommendation this week?
Yeah, I can start. Well, last week I finished watching The Haunting of Hill House. And then we started watching The Haunting of Bly Manor, which is also good, and I recommend it. I also just finished, finally, the last season of Adventure Time. And it's so good.
Adventure Time, come on, grab your friends.
Exactly, and I love Adventure Time. And so if you haven't gotten on that train, just if you watch the first few seasons and you're like, this doesn't make any sense, get past that. And then there's a plot deep down in there. So there it is.
Sounds good. Thank you, Isaac. I might have to get back on that then. What do you stream Adventure Time on?
Hulu.
Okay, cool. I got that.
So I would like to recommend, they are current TV shows, so I'm sorry for anyone who needs like something to binge. You can't really do that with these. So the first one is 911 Lone Star, which I watch on Hulu. That's on Hulu. And it is a spinoff of the show 911, but I really like 911 Lone Star better because of the diverse cast. There is a guy from Michigan who is on there, and he is a trans man representing a trans man in the show, and like I love it absolutely. And then you've also like the first season they make this whole big thing in one episode because this woman, you think Texas and you think someone who white privileged, hates everyone who doesn't abide by their.
That's a lot of the Southern stereotype, though.
Yeah.
Which isn't always true. We got to like preface that, but like for TV, generally you rely on stereotypes.
Which like they don't like the rest of the show. They don't really go with the stereotype. Like they might show something, but then like later in the show they flip it and it's like, oh, I misjudged you, type thing. But like there's one where a woman's like, oh, I'm having a heart attack. And it's like, sorry, ma'am, I can't help you. I'm gay. Oh, I'm trans. Oh, it goes through this whole big thing. And then it turns out the woman's not even having a heart attack because she was just trying to avoid going to jail. But so it's funny. It is a drama show. And they just did the winter finale and it doesn't come out for the next episode doesn't come out for like a month and 5 days. And I'm sitting here like screaming at the writers because I want the next episode now.
Wait, they did the winter finale in March?
Yeah, because they had to push back when it started. But that's also why like the next part of the series is coming out, only a month later instead of 10 months, whatever. 10 months is way too long. But the other show is Superman and Lois. It is absolutely adorable.
That's my recommendation as well. It is so good.
It's really good. It's adorable. Tyler Hoechlin being Superman, and then the two guys that they have playing his sons is just like, oh, it's perfect. It's amazing.
Leading off of that, my reasoning for it is different. Like I like the family drama, like that part of it, but like the reason I really like it is because I'm a big fan of like Man of Steel, Dark Knight style superhero movies, and I feel like this is like the Dark Knight of the CW universe. Like with Arrow, it was like dark at the beginning, and then as like we got on later seasons, it became more campy as like Flash was popular, Supergirl was popular, Legends of Tomorrow was popular, but Superman and Lois has this like darker tone that's like much more serious. And honestly, it seems like it does not fit with the rest of the Arrowverse. Like it's still loosely connected, but it is like really weird. I'm not caught up in the most recent episode.
Yeah, I'm not either, but I was gonna say they do keep up with the whole multiverse and Crisis on Infinite Earths. So like if you were a fan of that, they do have things coming out of that. So like it's not just, oh, it's gone. It's like,
oh yeah, it's still part of it. Like there's still the bits that are there, but it's just so the vibe is so different. And I love it. It is really good. It's like I don't think a CW Arrowverse show has had this strong of an opening since Arrow. No. Like this has been really good. Then I also wanted to just like quick recommendation. If you really liked WandaVision and you like are also a comic book fan, but if you're a comic book fan and haven't read House of M and Vision Quest, I find that a bit odd. But like if you really liked WandaVision and you're new into comics and you're looking for stuff to read, or you want to get into comics and like WandaVision, House of M, the Marvel storyline that WandaVision is like loosely kind of based off of, they borrowed some stuff from that, and Vision Quest are like Wanda and Vision stories that are really, really good, really iconic. And that actually might, lead into a WandaVision season 2. So having those in your toolkit might be good. And then the last thing is a board game I've been playing quite a bit. It's not a board game, but like it's called Puns of Anarchy. It's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, except all the cards are like little dry erase boards, and you have to manipulate your card to make it a pun of what you originally said, so it fits in the categories of the other people at the table. And it's really, really fun. And I think it has a lot of replay value. So if you're looking for like a fun game to play with family or friends, like you can make it as like family friendly or as like Cards Against Humanity level dirty as like you want. And it's a really fun game. So I highly recommend it. It's available on Amazon, and they also have like their Kickstarter website that you can buy it directly from as well. So that is all we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Raving Geeks. Make sure you leave a comment wherever you're listening from. We'd love to hear from you, whether it's about anything you want us to talk about in the future, what we talked about today, or just, chat us up, ask us some questions. We love to, we try to periodically check our comments. Also, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter at Raving Geeks. Also, follow our TikTok channel, which we're starting to get a little more traction on. I posted one this week that got almost 900 views, which is hey. To be fair, and the ones that like you posted, did you use as many hashtags as I did? Because I think that's what got me on For You page.
I think I didn't use the right hashtags.
That's the thing. Like, I use
some that are like the right hashtags.
The algorithm's like picky on that. But so as always, I have been Brendan Valentine along with my co-hosts
Hope Gooderall.
And my name is Isaac Hunter.
You didn't do the usual Isaac Hunter.
I had to make sure the screen got me on time.
I was gonna say there was a little pause before he even said his name.
Alrighty, everyone. Stay geeky and have a great weeky. See ya.